Have you ever played any of the Wolfensteins?
No, I haven't.
Did you play the new Doom?
I have played the new Doom, yes. I played it on PS4, not the PC, but I think it's a representation that is worthy.
So the new Wolfenstein is one of my favorite games, period. I think it is brilliant, it's beautiful, the story is incredible, the graphics are incredible, just everything is great. It is absolutely my game of the year for 2014. Then they came out with Doom, and Doom was my game of the year again. It's incredible, fantastic, beautiful. The new Colossus, Wolfenstein 2, the game we're looking at today, is a combination of both of those. They took the story and they took the awesome, just everything that they had in the Wolfenstein reboot, and they also took the movement that they had in Doom and combined them. Hey guys, this is Moriarty.
And this is Brax, and I totally agree with what you were saying about the movement from Doom. I did make that connection when I was playing through it. Even in the first few minutes, I felt like, yeah, this is sort of doomy, if that's a word.
It's very, very doomy, and that is not by any means a bad thing, but it's also not quite the same as just run and gun as Doom was. There's a lot more to it than just that, and I really, really appreciate it. This is such an incredibly well done game. It's pretty, it's fun. This is one of the few games that I played through in its entirety in one playthrough in a long time.
That is really high praise. I haven't finished it yet, but I have to say I'm definitely going to, because I am hooked at this point. And what you said about it's not exactly the same as Doom, I agree there. I think the levels are designed really, really well, and the level design in this is even better than Doom is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Doom is a fast-paced run and gun, don't stop, kill everyone. You have your glory kills in there that give you more ammo and health just to keep the movement going. It absolutely harkens back to the days of the two Johns and saying it's all about movement, it's about speed, let's pull all of the things that make the game slow out of it. That's Doom. Wolfenstein has never really quite been as much about just run and gun, in its recent incarnation at least, as the Doom franchise has always been. So with this, there's a lot of different ways to play the game, which I absolutely appreciate. This is, and I think it's incredibly funny to say, but this is the most competent stealth shooter to come out in a long time. And it's Wolfenstein. It shouldn't be the most competent stealth shooter, but it just is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a reflection of how bad other stealth shooters have been in the past memory, or if it's just this is really good. I think it's a mixture of both. And you played this, you got your hands on it before I did, and you told me this is probably the best stealth shooter of the year. And I was like, huh? Wolfenstein?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but after I played it, I totally understand what you mean, because I love the stealth part of it, especially when you get weapons. You get to, like, cut a guy's ankles off with a hatchet and stuff. It's amazing.
It's truly amazing. And I want to say that if I'm going to recommend this to somebody, because I think it's obvious that I recommend it. I'm not even going to hold that to the, yes, I recommend it, you should buy it, absolutely. But if I'm going to recommend it to somebody, I have to say this is by no means a kid's game. That's become kind of muddled in recent history with games like Call of Duty and things like that, where they're ultra violent, but it's the same kind of thing as like a Quentin Tarantino film. There's so much blood that it's not bloody anymore.
Yeah, it's like people become desensitized to it, I guess. It makes it very clear in the first few minutes that you're absolutely right. This is not a kid's game. You can realize that within 10 minutes of starting the game. It's not politically correct. It's very violent. But to me, I don't mind all of that stuff. It's refreshing to see some developers really not care. And if they push the envelope, they push the envelope. But it's in the name of making a really good game. That's what's important.
And they do. This is an incredible story, and it has moments in it that are way too poignant for a video game. And I don't mean that in any way as a bad thing. It is a nice and refreshing thing to see a game that's not afraid to be absolutely controversial, to be absolutely unafraid of taking on subjects that are by no means friendly. And this game does it. I won't go into a whole lot of that in this video. I'm not going to show anything because, quite frankly, these are the type of things that people have flashbacks over. All sorts of really dark tones in this game, but it's also funny. which is nice. This is one of the most incredibly well-crafted games for that reason alone. Yes, there are moments where you will feel uncomfortable. The kind of uncomfortableness that you might remember from BioShock when you had to beat Andrew Ryan to death with a golf club. Like, that was a moment that a lot of people didn't see coming, that was really deep and really dark, and it affected people. Well, those kind of moments happen in this game too. But it's still got the humor and the awareness of its Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I can agree with that point as well, because it did take me on an emotional and mental roller coaster in certain scenes where it is a mixture of humor and violence, or humor in these really dark occurrences and dark atmospheres, where one second I'm laughing at the game's largest villain because she does say some things that are funny, even if they are a little morose. But then it gets really violent all of a sudden, and I feel like, am I a bad person for laughing during this scene? I don't think I am. I think it's just they have such a great balance of that going on, and it got an emotional response out of me because of that.
I really think that goes to show the value of Machine Games, who made this game and they made the last ones. Their dedication to making a excellent single-player game. And that's how come there is no multiplayer in this game. There's not even a remnant of multiplayer in this game. There's nothing like that. They just made one hell of a good single-player experience. And it is the best single-player experience that I've played, well, since Doom, really. But the fact of the matter is they have made probably the best shooter of the year, and maybe the best shooter of the past 2 years, hands down.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. I won't say it's the best single-player experience I've had in the past year or 2 years, but I will say it's the best single-player shooter game experience that I've had in that time period, because this took me back to the good old days, in my opinion, of when I used to play things like Resistance, Fall of Man, and all of those action-adventure games that had a compelling story and also really great shooting mechanics. And these games aren't similar. I'm not saying that Resistance is like this, because it's not. They both happen to be war-based shooters. But it did make me feel that immersion of, I'm having fun playing through the level from a gameplay standard, and then the story is making me want to continue even more. It's such a great combination.
Now, of course, you have a couple of moments of dissonance where you go, I don't understand why there is a pregnant woman on the battlefield at all. I don't understand it. I don't get why she didn't just stay home. It's dumb. Other than those kind of moments, the story is beautifully written. They've also expanded on that storyline afterwards, and they're going to continue to do it, though they're going to charge for it with what they call the Freedom Chronicles. And the Freedom Chronicles are expanded sections of gameplay with different characters. You're not an ultra beast or whatever. You have to play different ways, and you're going to use different tools than you did in the actual game itself, typically speaking, and complete a single, small, self-contained storyline.
I think it's okay for them to do that. I'm normally not a fan of, pay to play, but when the game is this good and people are actually going to be wanting something else, and I think it's okay for them to go ahead and do it. I mean, if you have the fan base to do it, it's fair, I think.
Sure, and that's the thing. Thankfully, the Freedom Chronicles are not something you have to buy, but if you really, really want more single-player content, then go for it, pick it up. But I think that the fact that they did this should show you how incredibly strong their storyline is. They couldn't even fit in paid DLC without changing and going to a completely different storyline. To me, when I look at that, I go, wow, that means that they are absolutely holding on to the sanctity of making a good story, making an excellently crafted single-player experience that is as good as it can possibly be, without having to say, but we're going to add in more stuff in paid DLC later. They didn't do that. They added in more storyline, but they did it with different characters. It's completely 100% not required. You can never play it and be fine.
Right, it's not a required thing where you have to buy it to understand the rest of the story. It's just bonus content.
It's also good. It's definitely designed for more expert players, so I wouldn't pick it up if you play through the game on easy. If you play through the game and you're like, wow, I find myself dying a lot on easy mode, this is absolutely not a purchase to make. It is hard. It is really, really hard. It is not friendly. It's not going to take your hand. There's no pacifier here. And if you're an id player, you'll get that.
I think that relates to the fact that it is for the fans, though. They don't want to give diehard fans something that's just so easy to play through, you know?
It is absolutely for the fans. And I love it. I really do. I'm super excited. I'm going to buy it. But again, I really don't think it's for everybody. It's designed for me, and I'm very excited to play it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. With regards to difficulty, how hard of a difficulty level did you play this game on?
Played it on normal.
I believe this is designed very specifically to be played on a hard or hardest gameplay. I think that if you are playing it on easy, or you're playing it on really easy, which they call Daddy Don't Hurt Me or whatever, or you're playing it even on normal, you're actually missing out on this game. And that is because it is designed for you to be perfect. And there's nothing that's quite like the feeling of going through and assassinating the commanders in a stealth mode and then pulling out your badass ultra upgraded assault rifle and just laying waste to the people who are left, or forgetting them entirely if you want to. Though me, I left no Nazis alive. That was my thing. I'm going through this game, there's not going to be a single Nazi left alive. If you're playing it on normal or you're playing it on easy, I think you're gonna miss out on this gameplay. I really do. And it's not going to add that much more time-wise. Like, you're not going to end up playing this game for 30 extra hours because it's on hard. You're going to end up playing this game for 3 or 4 extra hours. And I think that those 3 or 4 extra hours will really, really bump up the gameplay here.
It's interesting you say that. I thought it was challenging enough on normal. I mean, it wasn't like crazy hard, but it was difficult enough. I died a couple of times, and I had to make sure that I was picking things up and refilling my health, getting more ammo, all of those things that I have to do to keep myself alive. And there was strategy involved. Like you said, taking out the commanders first always helps. So maybe that's how good of a player you are, and you're just really good at these games because they're your cup of tea.
I've thought about that. I really did, because I was listening to a podcast with the What's Good Games girls, and they were talking about how they couldn't play the game on easy. It was too hard, they had to put it on easy, and they were still dying a lot. My first impulse was to go, oh, well, you just suck at this game. I think that's not what it is. I think it is, first off, they're professional reviewers, so they're trying to rush through the gameplay as fast as possible, and even dying once is too much for that kind of a person. So I get that, and that's a big part of it. But I think that for the average player who's going to spend $60 on this game, I believe that playing it on hard is the right decision. It's going to be a much better experience for somebody who's playing this game to play this game.
Well, I'll admit, I did die more times from walking into traps because I wasn't paying attention to the environment than I did from gunfights. So maybe normal is pretty easy, because for me, it's not like I'm the best FPS shooter with a keyboard and mouse. And I didn't really die from simply just gunfire very many times, maybe once.
There's not a whole lot of points where I died a lot, and I was playing it on hard. There are a few very difficult missions, and I really think that if you're going to play it on a stealth kind of mode, hard mode is required, right? If it's stealth, hard mode's required. It's too easy otherwise. Stealth is completely overpowered, even though you'll find a lot of people talking about how, oh, I couldn't do stealth. It's because you're not playing as a stealth character, like you're just trying to stealth one time in the game. Yes, if you try to stealth one time and you've never stealthed before, that one time it's probably not going to work. If you play as a primarily stealth game, you're going to see that the game is super easy, and bumping it up to the next level or the next level after that is really going to increase the experience a lot, I find.
I could see that, because with the stealth mode incorporated into this, if you play patiently, it does make things really easy. So bumping it up to hard would be best to balance that out.
So that's what I think about the difficulty levels. The Freedom Chronicles, very much something that you can play if you want to. If you're really looking for the single player experience and you've done everything, and there's a lot of stuff to do in this game. There's what they call districts, where you can go through and you complete little mini missions in maps you've already played. You can go back after you've completed the game and play through in what's called a simulation mode, where you can go through and play every mission again. So, plus there's the Freedom Chronicles, Plus, there's all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be done in this game if you're looking for more and more gameplay. I believe I put 30 hours into the game just like getting to 60-70% complete. I believe that you could probably make this, if you wanted to, a 100-hour game if you were willing to pay for some of the DLC.
Yeah, and that's always a great thing. That's something that I always consider if I'm going to pay, pricey amount, that I want lots of hours out of it, or at least a reasonable amount of hours. And even if you only get 80 out of it, and you look at the main story alone, that's what, 40 hours probably?
I would say 20 to 30, depending on the difficulty level and how bad you are.
Okay, and that's just to play through the story one time. And like you said, with all of those other things going on, you'll have enough there that you're going to play this for a while. And the good thing is you're going to have a lot of fun the entire time.
It's a blast. This is such a fun game. It's incredibly fun. It is an expertly crafted single-player game. If you're looking for a single-player shooter, there's nothing better out there. And I swear to you, there's nothing better out there. This is the best that you'll find today.
Very high praise from Moriarty. I can't argue. I did enjoy it a great deal. It's my favorite single-player shooter of the year thus far.
For me, it's already Game of the Year. I don't see anything else that can come out and beat this. It's incredibly well done, fantastically fun. It is a $60 experience, and you're absolutely getting a $60 experience for it. This is what AAA first-person shooters should be. It's what AAA single-player experiences should be. I don't think there's anything that can match it right now. If you liked the New Order, if you liked the Old Blood, this is more of the same, but better. So there you go, guys. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, go ahead and watch another one up there in the corner. And as always,
we'll see you guys on the next one.